What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of F1 2016 Mobile Career Mode. And today we have episode number 83 at the Chinese Grand Prix in Season 6. Be sure to check out the last episode. There's some gameplay from that video on the screen now. That took place in Bahrain. Now, make sure that you do go and see that if you haven't seen it, because it was a very interesting race, which I'm going to spoil now. So, spoiler alert, you have been warned if you've not seen it. It was a pretty good race for us. Overall, we had very, very good pace. However, unfortunately, we could only manage P4, even with a two-stop race. So, yeah, unfortunately, we've lost a little bit of ground to Hamilton in the championship, but today I'm hoping we can go for another strong result.
Clock ticking down, the drivers have a few minutes before the race event starts. Welcome to the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Here we are on the grid in pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix. That is exactly what we needed. My teammate Lewis Hamilton is starting on the front row as well. Then it's a 3-4 for the Ferraris and a 5-6 for the Red Bulls. Strategy today, I'm probably going to lean more towards a one-stop at this track, going from the super soft to the medium. So we're probably going to go to maybe lap 5 and then switch onto the medium tyre, something like that. We'll see how the tyre wear is. We'll be revving up to the start. 5 red lights are out in Shanghai and we're underway, and that's not the best start off the line. Lewis Hamilton's already alongside and in fact ahead. Before we even get to the first corner, we're going to be going nearly wheel to wheel as we head through this long spiralling section. Hamilton's on the grass, he cuts back across. There's a little bit of contact made, but thankfully there is no damage for me, and Hamilton has taken the lead and he's already checking out of this race. I just can't seem to get the power down out of that long sequence of corners quick enough, and you can see he's already 7/10 of a second in front through the first sector, so it's not been an ideal start, although thankfully we've managed to catch a bit of ground up at the end of the first sector. Hamilton's off the ground, he swerves across, and I've lost part of my wing. Hamilton's completely taken out my front wing, and now we've got damage on the first lap, and all of a sudden that means I'm going to be so vulnerable to some of the AI drivers behind. Oh my word, what was he doing? And you can see now, there goes Verstappen. I'm a complete sitting duck on the straight. And you can, whoa, the Dutch driver actually moves back across in the brake zone, so I have to switch to the inside line. But oh my word, what a start to this race. But not for me, for my teammate. You can see he's already seconds in front of me. He's already like 3 seconds in front of me in the first lap. So I still don't know why Hamilton went wide, and then he suddenly swerved back across onto the racing line and took out my front wing. Go back, watch the replay if you don't believe me, it's true. As Massa absolutely flies past me, although I'm going to send it on the brakes back down the inside of the Brazilian in the Williams. I'm a poet and I don't know it, but this is going to be my best impersonation of trying to defend like a lion for a few laps, and then hopefully we can pit. So I do feel like I want to try and extend a little bit further, just so I then can still get the medium tyres to the front, but I think I probably will be pitting by the time we get to lap number 4, as Massa's actually straight back up the inside at turn 1. I'm just going to leave the door open. I feel like Felipe is going to be a little bit quicker than me, considering he probably hasn't got any damage. So with that, I'm now down off the podium into 4th place, so it has not been a good start to this race at all for me. And although I've got DRS open, you can see Sergio Perez will be eager to try and have a look as he goes towards the heavy braking zone. He does temporarily get ahead, although I managed to go later on the brakes. I do run it in a little bit hot, but thankfully I will still keep the position on the Mexican driver. Another fastest lap of the race for Hamilton. That's 3 seconds quicker than my personal best lap time. I just can't compete with the pace of my teammate with this damage, and Massa's already nearly dropped me outside of DRS range entirely. This section is where I'm so understeery, and you can see that is even more confirmed as Perez just easily slots his car into 4th place, demoting me into 5th. So Yeah, I've run wide there as well, and this could allow Daniel Ricciardo to try and get in front of me. He's actually ahead. There goes the Red Bull driver. Although I'm going to have the inside. Is this turn 5 or 6? I can't remember. A little bit deep. Ricciardo's still there. He'll probably get a chance on the back straight when he'll have DRS to try and overtake me. But I just want to try and stay ahead for as long as possible. Look how wide I'm drifting through that corner just because of the understeer as the tyre wear also begins to kick in on these super soft tyres. Ricciardo goes flying in, goes too deep. We get the cut back. That's a nice little move actually, even if we have got damage. I was quite pleased with that. Although even with the understeer we still can't keep the car on the track as we're coming towards the Anting Stadium section now, following this long looping right-hander. There seems to be a lot of these kinds of corners on this track. It's not one of my favourite tracks, I will be brutally honest, but, you know, we're doing a full season, so I guess we've just got to adapt to that. We've still got to try and win. You can see me weaving, trying to break the slipstream. Absolutely pointless because Ricciardo's going to fly past with DRS. And to be honest, at this point, I've decided I've had enough. Yes, I resend it up the inside of the Australian, but I'm going to pit now anyway. I'm losing too much time. I haven't got enough pace. 4 laps is long enough on these tyres. I'd have probably been coming in a lap or 2 anyway. So now I'm going to call it quits and we are going to come in, fix the damage, get on some medium tyres and hopefully make it to the end of this Grand Prix. I'm also going to make a slight setup adjustment. Obviously, I'm losing so much time on the back straight. We've seen that, so I'm going to take a little bit of wing off the car. But we've got the pit lane glitch. What's happening here? The game's waiting to spit me out at the back. Nearly 50 seconds in the pit lane I was. That's the equivalent of 2 pit stops that I've made, just about. Wonderful. So, this game really doesn't like me in the pit lane. We're now down in 21st. There's only Ria Haryanto behind me. Although on lap 6, some drivers have already pitted. I'm half a second up in the middle sector. I've completely spun it out on the curb. The rear tyre's just getting so much wheel spin and I touched the outside curb and that just completely threw the car off balance. And now we'd nearly caught up to Hulkenberg. We'll have to do it all again. Thankfully I have, as I can brake much later than the AI on the end of the back straight. We've now got DRS. We are going to get past Hulkenberg, so it has worked. Taking a little bit of downforce off the car. And you can see as we are going through the spiral section, look at the speed of which we're catching up to Marcus Ericsson as well. This is much more like it from me. I seem to have a lot more pace, even on tyres that are 2 compounds harder. So I think the strategy can work. I still think we might be able to get some big points today, because don't forget, quite a lot of the drivers will be either 2-stopping or they won't have pitted yet. And look at that, you can see over 4 tenths up just in the first sector alone. Marcus Ericsson's slow. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to try and pin my car up the inside through that flat S section, and that's going to get me now into the points as lots of other drivers have pitted. We're ending lap number 9 and I've caught up to a great battle between the 2 Toro Rosso drivers, Carlos Sainz and Danny Kvyat. I've also set the fastest lap of the race in that time as well at 1:33.9, so that's showing I have got a lot of pace. That was considerably quicker than Hamilton's best run, even on the super soft tyres. So we are there. It's just a question of whether the damage has already been done, and I'm already too far back to get a decent result here today. I guess only time will tell, as Sainz and Kvyat just simply drive away from me at the end of the spiral section. As we head towards the end of the first sector, I'm going to have a half look at Kvyat there. He kind of leaves the door open. He just seemed very hesitant as he was heading through the corner. Although the Russian driver gets a better exit than me, I'm going to go round the outside of this long left-hander into the right. We'll have the inside line, and there we go. We've displaced Danny Kvyat into P10. Although the Russian driver's trying to come back at me, now I have to put the squeeze on, and then I will keep P9. So that now leaves Carlos Sainz exposed. Hopefully I'll have DRS and then be able to attack him down the back straight, braking into the middle sector. Look how much time I can gain in the brake zones, because the AI seem to be slow there. However, they make lots of that up in the traction zones. Look how the Spanish man is just completely driving away from me. It's not as bad as I was expecting, not as bad as it has been on other laps. We're a lot closer to Sainz than Kvyat is to me, so we'll have DRS. Although, look at the mirrors, Kvyat's absolutely flying out of nowhere. I decided to make a move early to the inside line to defend, to stop him attacking me, otherwise we'd have been 3 wide. And now the Russian driver is literally making contact with me because he doesn't want to get off the racing line. And it looks as if he could be trying to get 2 for 1 here. In fact, it was Sainz who I then barged off the road. And, hold on, what's this radio message?
Position back. Give it back.
So you can see, in fact, the FIA have deemed that overtake on Sainz too aggressive as I forced him off the road, and I've indeed been told to give the position back to the Spanish driver. So that means losing 2 more points, which in the context of my championship is huge. So I'm just going to pull over now and try and let Carlos Sainz get past. And then, as you heard, I'm going to try and do a Verstappen of 2021 and dive bomb the inside of the Spanish driver. I go too deep, Sainz gets the cutback, and then he will end up keeping P6. This is turning into a very tasty battle here between myself and the Spanish driver as I'm trying to have a look. Carlos is defending quite well, to be fair. He goes a little bit wide. This could be the opportunity I need. Riding over the curb. We're going to go wheel to wheel. Thankfully, Sainz gets better traction, which means he's going to be in front of me rather, at the DRS detection point, and then I outbrake him, so I'll get a bit of DRS, and then I'll get the track position back. So I'm back into P6, and as Verstappen is nearly 10 seconds down the road, this might be as good as we can get today. Sainz is still fighting me on lap 13. Kvyat's now pitted. My tyres are starting to go off. Carlos Sainz doesn't move back across the racing line in the end, so I just say thank you very much and go completely round the outside again to keep P6. So there you go. That's kind of been the story of this race, guys. It's a lot of interesting battles, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately Hamilton ruined my race. I think we probably would have certainly had the pace for a podium, which would have been absolutely okay. We'd have still had the championship lead, but because Hamilton's won and I'm going to finish in P6, that means I've now lost the championship lead. Hamilton is your new leader. He'll be on 228 points. And I will be on 226 points, if my math is correct. We will be 2 points behind my teammate in the championship. With the next race being at the Japanese Grand Prix, which is the strongest track for the AI. So I'm not looking forward to that one. Palmer's coming up. He's a lap down. What an absolute disaster. P6 in Shanghai from pole. That's not what we wanted. But, as I said, we could have done better. We had the pace, but Hamilton thought otherwise. There's the results for the Chinese Grand Prix. Hamilton wins by country mile, over 20 seconds to Sebastian Vettel in P2. Good result for Ferrari. Felipe Massa P3 for Williams. Excellent day for him. And Gutierrez, big shout out to the Haas team to finish P4. Ericsson 7th for Sauber as well. Kevin Magnussen also in the points for Renault. They're the notable mentions. Raikkonen missing out on points altogether. Valtteri Bottas is also way down as well. Daniel Ricciardo also only managing P13. In the Drivers' Championship, my maths was indeed spot on. We're 2 points behind Hamilton. However, there's a gap of virtually 100 points back to Vettel, who's in third. He's in a good scrap with Verstappen, fighting over third. Raikkonen is P5, and Hülkenberg has jumped ahead of Daniel Ricciardo in the standings, so the German driver is now at P6. Everybody's, of course, scored points. In the Constructors, we are miles ahead of everybody else. We've got nearly double points, so that's not much of a concern, really. It's just more about now when, rather than if, we will win the Constructors' Championship. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share and subscribe, as it really helps me out. I really appreciate all the support you are giving me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. Both links will be in the description down below, and I'll see you guys all in Suzuka. Goodbye.